My name's Downey. Louise took a little bit of video 3 weeks out from an OCB Pro Qualifier. I'm 47 years old, natural pro. I won my Masters over 40 natural pro card, NGA, INBF, WNBF, and ANBF, and my open pro card in ANBF, American Natural Bodybuilding Federation, last year. I compete usually middleweight, or OCB is height class, so I'm usually in the middle class, middleweight 175. I might look bigger when someone's really cut and pumped up, but I'm only 180 right now, so I normally compete at 175. Louise took some video today to kind of show, keep moving, how we're looking for quality muscle movement, more focus on the contraction, the holds, higher reps. I still like to have a balance between heavyweight and lightweight. Heavyweight to keep the central nervous system and keep the muscles pumped and full. That's what got me this muscle mass. But then also doing higher reps and getting the heart rate up so that I can lose some body fat, get higher quality of muscle, get striations like in the shoulders, in the chest. You can see like in the chest and the upper chest, stuff like that. Lean out the abs. Still working on the legs, doing a lot of cardio. But it was just a different way of working out to try to focus on a different goal, if you will. So thanks, and I guess that's about it. Wish me luck.
All right, so here we're just starting out and warming up, trying to get the shoulders a little warmed up, and really it's a pull down, trying to spread out the lats and stretch out the lats, but it's also warming up my shoulders. First exercise along with that was pull downs. I changed the grip a little bit with a pronated grip, or if you want to call it pronated, because my elbows were hurting a little bit, but this gave me a good stretch. Some of these type of bars are not wide enough, but this one was really wide and it was angled, so you get a little bit deeper stretch, trying to pull all the way down to the chest. So I lock myself in there as tight as I can, stay relatively straight up and down, but I've relaxed my scapula and my shoulder blades to try to stretch out my lats as wide as possible. The saying we have is, go wide to get wide. So we have some moves for back that are more for thickness, and some moves are more for width. Here we're trying to get some more width, stretch out the lats, let them flare out, get a good stretch, good contraction. Here I started wearing out, so I started doing some partials. Sometimes it's better to do partials than just to quit. Normally Louise would have spotted me there for a few extra, but he was videotaping. Then we moved on to, I wanted to do like a bent over row and hit that middle back and get the thickness. This would be like a thickness move, but I wanted something with stability so I could focus just on my back, and I decided to go lighter. Here, trying to pull the bar as high up as possible, squeeze my shoulder blades together. I could feel it in my rhomboids, my traps, my rear delts, my back, my spina recti, or whatever you want to call it. Can't pronounce everything. But there was a little bit of swing up onto my abdomen. Louise pointed out I was trying to keep my chest down on the bench, and I would rotate a little bit. Some people rotate a lot. So here I'm trying to just focus more on my middle back and trying to pull my elbows in, I would say closer to my abdomen. So I'm not keeping my elbows high because I wasn't trying to hit my rear delt. I was trying to hit my middle back. Here we moved over to rear delt, where we did a bent over row with an overhand grip, and we kept the elbows out to try to hit the rear delt. So you can see the rear delt, and you can also see the traps contracting, the rhomboids, the middle back. This turned out to be a really good burn exercise. Couldn't go really heavy because we're bent over at 90 degrees. But, I mean, after a while, you get tired also in the hamstring and the glute because you're holding yourself up. But it was a really good burn exercise. Then we moved on to some seated shrugs. I just wanted to try something different, so we did some dumbbell seated shrugs. Trying to turn the dumbbells a little bit to the side, squeezing up, try to get the shoulders up, relatively high. Some people say try to squeeze it up to your ear. I try not to roll my shoulders like some people do. I just up and down. And I try not to kink my neck backwards because I have a herniated disc in my neck. So I just try to focus on my my traps. So you can see I'm not really bending my elbows too much. Here I tried a different type of shrug where I was barbell and I went wide to spread my arms apart and then do the shrug to kind of pull up and in. And it was just a different feel. And I think I even ended with a set of wide, narrow, and normal grip for 888. So just trying to get the heart rate high, staying light, and squeezing up and getting the veins to really pop out. So you'll see in a lot of these that I even looked at it later on and said, damn, I got bags under my eyes. You know, when you start getting tired, and me and my wife, Melanie, came up with a new acronym called LCCP, Low Carb Crazy Phase. So even though I'm really not that low in carbs, I'm just doing a lot more work as far as cardio in the morning, cardio at night, workout in the afternoon, cycling my carbs, still staying on oatmeal to keep some fullness, but trying to move faster through my workouts, trying to sweat a little bit more, get the heart rate up higher. And it's worked. I mean, I've started my diet June 1st at 203. I actually started at 207 pounds May 1st, and my prep started June 1st at 203. And in this video, I'm 180 pounds, which was like September 5th or 6th or whatever it was. So I consistently lost 1 to 2 pounds a week, which is about what you normally want to do, is slow and steady, not too drastic. This was a good exercise here. Louise showed me sitting backwards on this lat pull down where we grab the bars instead of the handles, get a good stretch. You can see the lats flaring out, pulling straight down, trying to contract the back. You know, a lot of these exercises are hard to do without involving your arms, but sometimes you have to kind of use your hands as hooks and pull from the elbow, but it's still going to hit your buys. There's really no way around it, but you try to minimize your arm involvement and try to focus more in the back. Sometimes I cock my wrists back a little bit just to pull from the back, and that's why I use straps as well. I'm not too worried about my forearm strength at this point. I'm just trying to focus on my back, getting as much work as possible. And then the contraction, the hold, you can see every muscle contracting, pulling, you know, the rhomboids, the middle back. I do really like this exercise. It's a cable crossover where I go pretty heavy and I let the scapula, the shoulder blades kind of relax and stretch it out really wide. And just like I said before, go wide to get wide. So this one stretches out, but I got to turn my wrists really far and turn the elbows, step forward in the machine. So I step forward, so it really pulls the lats apart. I actually saw this one from Victor Martinez, and I even saw him in Vegas one time, and he told me, so yeah, I do this sitting on a bench. I'll even do it from different angles, and you could even do it from the bottom pulley. So instead of just the top, you can do it from the bottom, so you hit different angles for the back. And then here's one where we're doing it for a rear delt. So I call this a modified cable crossover, but it's a cable crossover focusing on the rear delt. Now you can see my traps, my rear delt, my rhomboids, everything contracting. But this is a great exercise to really focus on that rear delt. I mean, too many people do all this pressing movement and hit the front delt, and they forget about the rear delt. And that rear delt really gives you thickness on the side chest pose. When you do your back double bi pose, it fills out the 3 deltoid really nice. So it gives you nice balance. And if you talk to Phil Heath, this is the one he's saying is beating out Kai right now because Kai doesn't have the rear delt. So here, Luis got me doing a few poses here and there. So you can see the striation kind of in the shoulder, and you see how tired I look. But I mean, it's coming down. Skin is still a little loose. You know, when you're 47 years old, there's not much. The skin doesn't contract or have the elasticity like it used to. So we just threw a couple